Hello, hi, welcome once again to M5's English language learning program, Let's Speak English. I'm Gav Duncan and I'm here on your TV to help you learn English. Now, are you sitting comfortably? Yes? Good. And are you ready for today's lesson? Yes? Good. Okay, well, let's learn English together. All right, people, are you all right? Yes? Well, you should be. It's here. It's arrived. Friday is upon us. Yes. Today, in case you haven't noticed, is Friday. Yes, the best day of the week. The standard working week, that is, obviously. You knew that. All right, so the weekend approaches, Captain. What should we do? Well, what do you think? Carry on as usual. We've got an English lesson to get through. Then, and only then, can the audience, those gods of English, those chickens of the forest, lemurs of the... what was it again? Oh yes, I remember, lemurs of the jungle and, what was the other group? Was it baboons? Baboons of the inner city? No, that doesn't sound right. It was some group or other from the inner city, I think. Cats? No. Guinea pigs? Rabbits? Piglets? Dolphins? Penguins? I give up. I can't remember. Anyway, that's not important. What was I talking about? Oh yes, I remember. Of course. I was talking about what we have to do. We have to get through today's lesson. Then, and only then, can you all start to get ready for the fun of the evening. Yes, you know it, and I know it too. We all know that Friday is not at full strength yet. Friday needs some time to warm up into Friday! So while we're all waiting for Friday to warm up, let's get this lesson started. All right, so what were we looking at this week? Yes, of course, that's right. We were looking at how we use for with a period of time to show how long something has been going on. And at the same time, we also looked at how we use since with the start of a period of time to also indicate how long something has been going on. So essentially, when we're talking about how long something has been going on, we use for and since. Okay, so we know that we use for and since to talk about how long something has been going on. Great, but there's more. Yes, it's time for us to take a closer look at ago. Now, we know that we use for with a period of time. 2 days, 3 weeks, 4 years, whatever. And we know that we use since with the start of a period of time we're talking about. Since Monday, since 1873, since the beginning of last week, or whatever. Now with ago, things are slightly different. Because with ago, we're looking the other way. Ago is an adverb of time which tells us how much time from now backwards. Does that make any sense? What I mean is that when we use the adverb ago, we're calculating back in time from now. So we use ago to measure the time from now back to a fixed point in the past. Let's think of an important date. I know, the 6th of July. What about that day? Well, what happened on that day? Any ideas? Well, I had a look around the internet and I found a few things. Which one do you think we're interested in? Well, are we interested in the fact that on this day in 1483, King Richard III of England was crowned? Maybe, maybe not. What about the fact that on this day in 1560, England and Scotland signed the Treaty of Edinburgh? Perhaps. Well, on this day in 1415, Jan Hus was burned at the stake, which is a bit heavy, isn't it? There must be something else, surely. Well, the only vaguely interesting thing that I could find was related to tennis. On the 6th of July, 2003, Serena Williams beat Venus Williams at Wimbledon in the final. Okay? That's a good one, for more than one reason. First, think about the names of those two sisters. Think about the way that Hungarian sports commentators pronounce their names. Yes, you all know what I'm talking about. That Canadian actor, the one who developed Parkinson's at a very early age. His middle initial is not G, but J. And that Japanese company which makes TVs and things like that, that company is JVC, not GVC. Actually, that reminds me, do you all know these things? Yes, of course you know these things. You've seen them before, haven't you? Yes. Now, obviously these things have got a name. There's a noun which we can use to communicate this idea. It's an excavator or digger. The verb to excavate means to dig a hole or remove something from the ground, and the verb to dig means to break up and move earth. So the two verbs are connected. If you give your dog a bone, then it's quite likely the dog will dig a hole in the garden and bury the bone there. That's what dogs do. But back to the machine. So we know that there's a noun for this digging machine, but in the UK, in the 1960s, things changed. There was one company which made machines like this, and that company was J.C. Bamford. Fine, but just as with the company which makes vacuum cleaners, Hoover, people in the UK started to use the initials of that company as a noun. When I was growing up, everybody called excavating machines by this name, by the initials of the company. So just like Hoover, people in the UK don't talk about driving an excavator or passing a digger driving exam. No. People in the UK don't normally talk about cleaning their house or flat with a vacuum cleaner. They don't use the verb to vacuum. They use a hoover to clean their house or flat. And they've taken the name of the company and made a verb out of that too. Have you done the hoovering? Did you hoover the bedroom? I have to hoover the bathroom. Where's the hoover? So the company name has almost replaced the verb and the noun. Now with JCB, the same is almost true. When I was growing up, we didn't call these machines diggers like my father's generation. No. When we asked our parents what those yellow machines, these big yellow machines were, we received the answer, that's a JCB. And did you notice the pronunciation? Yes, that's a J, not a G at the beginning. Michael J. Fox drives a JCB to the shops to buy a new JVC DVD player. Now, where was I? Oh yes, the Williams sisters. First, the older sister, Venus. Is there any part of that name which you can't pronounce? V? No, that's simple. E? That's easy too, but listen out the next time you hear tennis on the TV. The commentator will probably say Venus. My God! I heard that everyone in the world is basically Hungarian, but I didn't realize that Venus Williams is actually Venus Williams. And what about her sister? Is she Hungarian too? Well, if you watch tennis on Hungarian TV, you'd think so. Serena, Venus and Serena. Two Hungarian tennis stars. Just think, people, there's nothing difficult about the pronunciation of those two names. Venus, Serena. No difficult sounds at all, but still, the commentators changed the names to Hungarian hybrids. Michael J. Fox drove his JCB to Wimbledon. That's another one. Wimbledon, not Wimbledon. Anyway, Michael J. Fox drove his JCB to Wimbledon to watch Venus Williams play Serena Williams, but he couldn't buy a ticket. All the tickets were sold out, so he went home. He drove home in his JCB and watched Venus play Serena on his JVC television. All right, enough of that. Let's get back to what we were doing a few minutes ago. We were talking about a go, weren't we? Yes, and that's why I mentioned Venus and Serena. On this day in 2003, Serena beat Venus in the Williams final at Wimbledon. Okay. And what if we want to say the same thing using our new favorite word? Yes, we can say the same thing using ago, our newest favorite word, to show how long back in time from now, to show how far back in time from now. On the 6th of July 2003, Serena beat Venus in the women's final at Wimbledon. 15 years ago, Serena beat Venus in the women's final at Wimbledon. Exactly the same meaning, but now with fewer words. Yes, we use ago to tell people how much time we're calculating back into the past. When I say 15 years ago, we know that I mean 15 years back in time from today. Well, okay, perhaps it's not 100% accurate. When I say 15 years ago, it's not immediately to do with this day. It's a more general idea. But I can change that. I can add something to the sentence to show that I'm talking about 15 years ago exactly to this day. I can say 15 years ago to the day, which immediately shows that I'm talking about a specific day, this day, 15 years ago. But in general, when we're talking about X years ago, we're being more general. So ago, all it means is before now. I first met you about a year and a half ago. I moved to Hungary 25 years ago. I got married almost 20 years ago. Are you hungry? No, I ate a sandwich a few minutes ago. Simple, isn't it? All we have to do is use ago with a period of time. 3 minutes, half an hour, 20 years, and we can tell people how long ago something happened. Brilliant! Now, let's have a look at a few more example sentences. He arrived on Monday. He's been here for 4 days. She went to America last September. She's been there for 10 months. They're married. They got married 2 years ago. They've been married for 2 years. Steve Stevens plays the guitar. He started learning when he was about 7 years old. He started playing the guitar about 52 years ago. He went to Thailand 2 weeks ago. He's been there for 2 weeks. Now, all of those are pretty simple sentences, aren't they? Yes, but there is something which I'd like to draw your attention to. In those sentences, there were different combinations, weren't there? In the first one, we're using the past simple and we're using the adverb for with the present perfect. Okay. In the next one, we're doing the same thing. The first part of the sentence is in the past simple, but the second part, which uses for, is in the present perfect. In the third one, we've got the present simple, then the past simple, and then for with the present perfect. 3, 2, 1. Ted Rogers. Are you there, Ted? Oh no, of course, you're dead. Oh, well, never mind. All right, what about the next one? Well, there we've got the present simple, the past simple, and then the past simple again with ago. And in the final one, we've got the past simple and then the present perfect with for. Okay, now what I wanted to draw your attention to was the fact that when we use ago, we never use it with the idea of the present perfect. We can use for with the idea of the present perfect, but when we use ago, we always use it with the past simple. I got here hours ago. I've been here for hours. They left a few minutes ago. They haven't been gone long. She's been gone a long time. She went to the shop 3 weeks ago. So when we use ago to talk about how long in the past something happened, we can't use it with the present perfect. We always have to remember that we have to use ago with the past simple. And we have to be careful of a couple of other things too. For one thing, we always place ago after an expression of time, never before. It's I met him 3 years ago, never I met him ago 3 years. We already know that we use ago with the past simple, not the present perfect. It's I left school 5 years ago, never I've left school 5 years ago. And we also have to make sure that we don't get confused when we use before and ago. Ago means before now. We use before when we're talking about something which happened earlier. It's I started working here 3 years ago. Never I started working here 3 years before. With before, we always state when in the past we're talking about. We tell people what the point of reference is. I worked in a supermarket before I went to university. And on that note, yes, it's time for us to part. Parting is such sweet sorrow, but partying is a lot of fun. All right, so remember the drill, people. Shower or bath if you prefer. Soap, sponge, loofah, rubber duck, perhaps a shave, perhaps shampoo, definitely, and then out of the shower, onto the bath mat. Towel yourself dry and then hit your armpits with antiperspirant. Make sure that the bacteria is kept at bay for as long as possible. Remember the first rule of society. Nobody wants to be friends with someone whose armpits smell like a homeless dinosaur's armpits. That's just one of the facts of life. The sun rises, the sun sets, and nobody wants to be your friend if you smell like a homeless dinosaur's armpits. So make yourself gorgeous, people, and then hit the town. Get out there and have as much fun as you can handle. Have a great evening. Have a wonderful weekend. Have a nice, relaxing Sunday, and then I'll see you all again on Monday. All right, I'm off to get my coffee. I'll see you all on Monday. Have fun, people. Have fun. See you later. Remember the website, www.mediaclick.hu. See you after the weekend. Bye.